Here we go with the construction of Excalibur. As you see here, I already have the pommel constructed because I just want to talk about the pieces of the sword, and having this here will help me to explain the rest of the blade. And I'll talk about how I created this in just a moment. So, what we're going to be doing primarily is working with the 3D effects to build the sword. It's going to be very, very basic at first. And then we're going to embellish this 3D object or group of objects with other layers to create the leather that goes on the grip, to create shadows, to create the runes or special magic text that goes in the fuller of the blade. So, what I'd like you to do first of all is grab your layers panel and create the same layers that I have here. And now I'll explain what the pieces of the sword are. Once again, we have the pommel, which is this little round thing here, which was great for hitting an enemy in the nose or, just to temporarily get him off you until you could spin around with your blade. We have the grip, which is attached to the pommel, and this is what you held on to the blade with. We have the guard, which is attached to the grip. Once again, it goes this way, and this prevented the other blades from coming down into your hand, which was pretty painful. I used to live back in medieval times, and it was rough. One time my guard broke, and I had to go to the hospital. Horrible. We also have the fuller. The fuller is that little depression or pushed in part of the blade. And once we create it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, we have the blade itself. So we're not going to work on any background elements in this lesson. We're simply going to create the sword and then hook it up. We're going to do all kinds of great embellishments with the other layers. So, once again, this is our pommel. Let's talk about how it was constructed and the reason we have the appearance panel open as well as layers. Whenever we use a 3D effect, it is, of course, an appearance that's been applied to our object. So it's an attribute that we can change at any time. So I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to get rid of my pommel and create a new one, and I'll show you how I did it. So I grabbed the ellipse tool, and on my keyboard, I held down the Shift key in conjunction with either Alt or Option, of course, depending on whether you're on a Macintosh or a Windows PC. And this allows me to create a perfect circle from the outside, inside out like this. So I have this circle, and I want to cut it in half. What you can do is go to your eraser tool, hold the mouse down until you see the scissors tool, and cut the circle in half. And we'll get rid of this half for now. So I'll go ahead and select this and hit delete on my keyboard. With this shape selected, we're going to go to Effect. And by the way, please make sure you're on the pommel layer, but if you're not, I'll show you how to fix that in a second. Go to Effect, 3D, and what we have to think about here is what we want to do with this shape. We want this shape to be revolved, so we want the 3D tool to revolve around this shape to give us a circle. So we're going to choose Revolve. And then we'll click Preview. And what you'll notice right away is you have the ability to revolve around an edge. If it goes around the left edge, it's going to go this way and give us this kind of cup or goblet kind of thing. We want it to go around the right edge. So we're going to go to From, Right Edge, and now we have a sphere. Okay, we're done with this for now, and that's our pommel. Now, what I was saying earlier is, let's say you have the pommel on the fuller layer by mistake. That's what this little box here is for. You can click and drag this little box to place an element on whatever layer you'd like it to go on. And you'll know you have it on the right layer because the highlight color changes. So I'm going to put it back on the pommel layer. We're done with the pommel for now. So what I'm going to do is lock this layer, as I always do. Next, we'll talk about the grip.